Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome back to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. We have made it. It is here. The puck has officially dropped on the 2025-2026 NHL season. 3 games yesterday, 2 games going on right now, 2 more tonight as everything trickles in and everybody gets started on their seasons. We will react and respond to the games from last night, as well as get you caught up on everything that was going on in the 2 games going on right now. And then some teams start off the season small. Some teams like to start it off big with some big cash money flying around. Some extensions going on, all involving major potential free agents heading into next offseason. We've got the latest on Jack Eichel, Kyle Connor, of course, Connor McDavid, all signing extensions right before the season started with their teams. And then we'll have some fun before we get out of here. We've got fresh goalie masks for the season. Which ones do we like? Which ones don't we like? We'll have some fun with that. All that plus more coming up right here, right now, in the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. And good evening and welcome on in. You have found your way into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam Karnik. That handsome man over there is Freddie B. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. Welcome to the start of the season, Freddie.
Oh, Adam, yesterday was like my Christmas morning, but then I wanted to go back to sleep after my LA Kings didn't come prepared to open the season, to say the least. I'm so happy. We talked about the last couple of shows. We gave our previews of each conference and talked about preseason games and all the excitement that this season was going to bring. And we had some contract signings a week ago we talked about. And then, boom, we're starting to get hit with all that stuff. Now, everything is official. The season is underway. I can't wait. Kings play again tonight, just a little bit. They take on Vegas, so that's going to be a good game. Hopefully they can bounce back and pick up a point or two.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into it a little bit, but my initial thought was, my goodness, who on earth did the Kings honk off to wind up with a back-to-back right away to start the season? That doesn't seem very nice.
Oh, I know. They got a really brutal schedule the first 10 games of the season. They got like 8 playoff teams. They go, they play Winnipeg, and then we're going to have Carolina pretty soon, and it's a big, tough stretch. It's going to build some character right away, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what they do. Well, you know, the nice thing is after the first night, it's a marathon, not a sprint. They play 80. You know, I had to remind my daughter of this when we got done with the Blackhawks game last night. I had to remind her it's a marathon, not a sprint. They're going to drop some. So, you know, it's all part of learning. It's all part of going through it. So,
yeah, big. I was highly impressed with Chicago. Frank Nazar, really nice game yesterday. And then Spencer Knight, he really kept that from being a 5-2, 6-2 blowout for the Panthers.
He really did. Well, before we dive into those, we'll get to, we don't always do necessarily game by game in the regular season, but with only 3 games going on in the regular season last night, we thought we'd have some fun with that. But before we get into that, first of all, thank you to everybody watching live tonight across YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Thank you for being here. This is, we do this every week, every Wednesday night, right here, 9:00 on the East, 6:00 out West, or fill in the blank for wherever you happen to be. Or if you're watching later on in the week as a podcast. You can catch the replays on YouTube as well. So thank you to everybody tuning in. You can interact with the show. Hop in, drop us a comment, let us know that you are here. Brian Francione is already in. Good evening. He's happy that hockey is back. He's ready to cheer on his Bruins out there in Boston. We know that. We'll get into that. So let us know if you're that you're here. Let us know that you're watching. We'll have some fun. Let's get into, we got 2 games going on right now tonight. Freddie, I see you've got them going on in the background there, but what are the scores right now of the games that we got going on right now?
Well, before we jumped on air, I haven't checked since we've been on, but it was 2-2 in the Montreal-Toronto game, which is quite surprising. Both really good teams. One of the best rivalries in all of professional sports is Montreal and Toronto. They just hate each other. And you go back to the 60s, that was considered the Cold War. Those two teams going back at it, winning the cups every year. And then surprisingly, Boston gets a goal from David Pastrnak, and they were up 1-0 on Washington. As we talk right now, that's exactly where both scores are at the end of 2 periods.
All right, so there we go. Yep. So little lull in the action right now, which is perfect. So you can you can have some fun with us, and we'll keep you posted on those as well. Let's dive into those games from yesterday, and we will start things off with the first game. The defending champion Florida Panthers, they get to raise the banner on the season. Little bit of an early start time, little unusual, 5:00 Eastern on a Tuesday afternoon. I didn't mind it. Man, on my drive home, I got to listen to hockey on my drive home, so I was fine with that. You had to get the
ESPN triple header in there, so they have to squeeze that early game. But for everybody in Florida, they were probably taking the day off of work already, so they can be for the ceremony.
Well, you look at it. Now I know we had one of our colleagues at the station, Joey Jets, who is amongst other things a Florida Panthers fan. I know he was at the game. It looked like he had room to spread out. I don't know if you saw a lot of the pictures of the stands. There were a lot of people that came as red chairs yesterday.
I didn't get to see too much of it as I was picking up children and getting off of work. I had it on the radio, so I was listening to it. I did catch most of the third period, but I didn't pay much attention to what the attendance looked like. But
yeah, there were a lot of empty chairs. But I digress. They were doing well. It was a good game. It was, you always wonder with these banner raising ceremonies, you always worry about will a team be able to enjoy the moment, but then turn around and be able to focus on the hockey game when it's time to play. And give the Panthers credit. Now, obviously, this is not their first time doing this, back-to-back champions. They got to do this last year as well. But I did not see any lull in their play at all in the game. Absolutely dominated the first period, outshot the Hawks 17-3 in the first period, led 2-1 after one. Really had a good game overall, even though Frank Nazar for the Hawks did open the scoring, but it really felt like this was a Panthers game all the way through and through.
Yeah, they beat up and bullied Chicago. And keep in mind, Florida is shorthanded to come into the season. They've lost Barkov for the year. We know Kachuk's going to be out until maybe the Olympics. So they were already coming in shorthanded, but the core group of guys that have won this cup, they brought almost everybody back from last year's team. So they know what it takes. And you get to play the worst team in the NHL to start one of the worst teams in the NHL to start the season. So you expect the defending 2-time champions to come out there and do that kind of performance. But I was quite surprised at what Chicago did. They had low shot total in the beginning of the game, and that kind of killed my Bobrovsky stat props. But Frank Nazar was very surprising. He looked really good. I didn't get to see, like you said, most of the first 2 periods. And then they were trailing from behind, playing catch up in the third. But yeah, Florida is just so good. And you could see that they have the makeup, and they had a really early scare in the game when Evan Rodriguez went down and looked like he may have hurt his knee or something like that, was grimacing as he went off to the bench. But can you imagine if Florida started the season with another major injury? And all these guys need to contribute, taking a loss, but he did come back and finish the game playing. So thankfully, he is not out any significant period of time.
Yeah, it was very much a collective when Rodriguez went down in the game, and just like you said, it was, oh man, is this just going to snowball, and is this going to be the season for the Panthers? I was overall, I was impressed with the Blackhawks play overall. They still, it's a 60-minute game, and they struggled to play a full 60 minutes, but Frank Nazar opened the scoring with a beautiful breakaway goal. He also contributed on the game tying goal with a great pass to Teuvo Teravainen early in the second. And Spencer Knight was phenomenal. I was frankly a little surprised that Spencer Knight wasn't named one of the 3 stars of the game, because it was, like you said, that game very easily could have been 5-6-7-2 Florida, but Knight finished officially
34 saves.
Yeah, 34 saves on the night. That's an playing with a lot of his old teammates. Let's not forget
that's a great point. Yeah,
he was a Panther until very late into the process. And comes back to the old building and played an excellent game, really kept the Hawks in it. So overall, yes, it's a loss. It was tied for Teuvo Teravainen tied the game up very early.
2-2.
I want to say it was 2 minutes into the second period, and it was all the way till about halfway into the third when the Panthers finally got the game winner. And it's a great
test to start the season. Great test for Chicago to start the season, going into that hostile environment and letting all these young players experience what it's like after you win the cup. See the ceremony and everything. These guys won the cup last year. We're playing against the best team in the league to start the season. Let's go out there and try to win this, boys. And they did a really good job. Chicago, they're probably going to finish, like we said, lower end of the Central again, but they're going to be an exciting team to watch just after, watching yesterday's game and everything like that. They got a lot of great guys. I want to see Connor Bedard get the ball rolling and see what he can do this season. And Spencer Knight's going to have his work cut out for him, though. The defense is really going to have to shut down and stop. You can't allow 37 shots.
Yes.
And expect to win games.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, overall, Florida did what Florida does, got the win. Maybe wasn't quite as dominant as we would have thought. Kudos to Chicago for that. But overall, Florida got the 2 points, gets to celebrate the banner. On to the next game then on the docket. The Pittsburgh Penguins taking on an old familiar friend in head coach Mike Sullivan. And this one surprised me. Pittsburgh came out and won 3-0, beating the Rangers. And it was pretty...
It was pretty dominating.
It was pretty dominant. Yeah, it was pretty solid from Pittsburgh, from puck drop to final horn. Pittsburgh owned this one.
It looked like Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, the guys who have been together for 20 years, the first trio of players to be playing 20 years together in the league like that is incredible. And they look like they had fresh legs out there. Malkin picking up 2 assists on the night, and Crosby doing what he does. He's winning faceoffs and didn't really contribute much offensively. They got 2 empty netters, but killing penalties and everything like that. I said Pittsburgh is going to be a little bit better this year, and I don't know how much better they're going to be, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. We want to see these stars continuing to do what they do, and they went in there into Madison Square Garden and left with Ranger fans booing at the end of that game. It was awesome.
I'll be honest, very different from what I expected. I'm not necessarily expecting great things from the Rangers this season, but I'm definitely not expecting great things from Pittsburgh this season. So to get an effort like that, and for Silovs to come out in first game, 25 saves in getting a shutout, what a way to start the season. Tremendous job by Pittsburgh in this one.
Yeah, I really expected the Rangers to come out with a little more fight. They really weren't that competitive in the game. Like I mentioned before, Alex Lafreniere had 6 shots on goal, but after that, they only had a couple of Mika Zibanejad, obviously, with a half dozen as well. Nobody else was really putting the puck on net for the Rangers. Where are they going to get the offense from? That's what I want to know. Are they going to be struggling offensively all year? Is this first game of the season, but is this a sign of what we can expect out of the Rangers? I don't know. Maybe they're not as good as I thought they were going to be either.
Yeah, I see. This was the troublesome thing with me for the Rangers coming into the season is it was so dysfunctional last season. And my fear was that it was going to be more of the same, where it was, who's going to take charge and get things organized there in New York. And through at least one game, we don't have that yet. And that's part of the trouble. Well, that's part of the problem in New York.
I didn't see anything spectacular out of the newly reigned captain, JT Miller. He was kind of invisible yesterday, and Adam Fox is the other big guy. Those are the 2 big dudes that you got to rely heavy upon. And then Shesterkin, I mean, he kept him in the game. Pittsburgh could have been a game where Pittsburgh had a multiple goal lead until late, but 2 fantastic game. You never know what to expect in the game of hockey. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So
it was what Shesterkin stopped 28 out of 29 shots. You certainly, even though they lost 3-0, you can't fault Shesterkin.
No, you can't fault him at all. He can't go out there and produce offensively. So
right. Yeah. If your goalie is scoring for you, that you got other problems, you've got other problems that you've got to deal with there.
We could have used the goalie to score in the nightcap last night. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's move over to that nightcap as the Colorado Avalanche continue to do Colorado Avalanche things. And they kind of buried your Kings last night, 4-1 the final, and and McKinnon comes out. Nate McKinnon is now officially the all-time Colorado Avalanche point leader. Now this is just since the relocation.
But you mean passing up Joe Sakic? That's incredible. Who would ever thought that would have happened?
I know. I mean, I tell you what, it's phenomenal, I tell you. But 48 seconds into the second period, he now is at 1,016 points in his NHL career. Sakic, he's still the leader when you're counting the Nordique, when you're going to the Nordiques, he's still there.
Right, but yeah, he's been he won those cups at Colorado, but wow, yeah, I mean, I absolutely love watching Nathan McKinnon play, except for when he's playing against the team I root for. But that guy is just so incredible on the ice. His speed, his hands, they're so fast, and he didn't produce much. Only 2 shots on goal, I think, and but it was his playmaking ability that led to the Colorado goals. And when you can't contain his speed, and you got a guy like Arturi Lehkonen or Marty Necas, and then Cale Makar out there, those guys know how to work the puck, and they can create a lot of havoc. Colorado is going to be one of the top teams at the end of the year. We both agreed upon that.
Oh yeah.
And they showed early in the season. The first period was kind of a dud for the most part. And then Colorado jumped out to the 4-0 lead before a late goal by Kevin Fiala. Already into the season, the Kings power play looks pathetic, and it was so bad last year. I think 28th ranked in the league, and that was their Achilles heel. And we're talking about them looking just as they did last year. This is something that they got to improve on, and they will, I think. But yeah, not the way you wanted to start the season. But Adam, did you see those beautiful Kings jerseys that they came out rolling onto the ice with to start the game? They unveiled their third jersey, the black with the silver crown.
Okay. I gotta look at these. I gotta look at these now. Yeah, I gotta remind myself of these.
So they started the pregame skate with the normal home jersey, and then but they came out to start the game with the new third jersey unveiling, and I think they're quite sharp. I already have a pre-order of a couple of them.
The silver helmets are definitely a choice. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I love it except for the silver helmet. The silver helmet to me screams Raiders.
Yeah, it's very much so Raiders. And I wanted so badly for the team to go back to purple and gold or bring back the purple. They had a really nice retro jersey a few years ago when they went back to that old style, and it just pops. But going back to the silver and black, it is always reminiscent of the Raiders. But
yeah, it's the helmet. If the helmet were black,
if we get enough people to comment, maybe they'll go to like a matte black or something like that.
There you go. Do that. Yeah, go to a matte black, because the silver, unfortunately, reminds me of the Raiders. And Larry,
they kind of played like the Raiders.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now we're gonna find out for sure just closely Larry B is paying attention as we're bringing up the Raiders now. It's just gonna be all kinds of bad in there. But and Scott Wedgwood last night for the Avs, 25 saves on that too for the Avalanche. That's an area where you always wonder. You never want for a playoff team, and let's face it, the Avs are almost certainly going to be one of those this season. Goaltending is always going to be that question mark for a playoff team. So to see Wedgwood come out and play very well straight out of the gate and get the 25 saves right out, you'll take that.
That's huge for Colorado, because his brother-in Wood, Mackenzie Blackwood, is injured right now. He would be the number one goalie. So Scott Wedgwood is still a fantastic backup option to have. Colorado's goaltending is going to be a lot better than people think, and they could ride that tandem, paired with their amazing offensive capabilities. They're going to probably get close to 50 wins.
One thing I will say though, so you brought up your frustration with the Kings power play. If you're the Avs, you've got to be extremely frustrated with your power play from last night. 1 for 6.
Yeah.
That's, obviously there's always circumstances surrounding that. But on the flip side, for the Kings, at least your penalty kill, that's a strong start to the season for your penalty kill.
That's always
5 stops on 6 chances.
That's always been their bread and butter, is the penalty kill. And Kemper was the only one that really couldn't do much stopping some of those pucks last night. They did give up the 1 power play goal, but the Colorado will clean that up. You gotta think about it. Cale Makar, with 6 power plays in the game, he only generated 1 shot on goal the whole game. So he didn't get many shots on goal either. The Kings are a team where they kind of eliminate the shot on goal. But last night it was the key saves from Kemper just weren't there when they needed them.
Yeah, but a strong start for the Avalanche. Kings, some stuff to work on. The nice thing, it's 1 of 82.
Absolutely.
You know, it is nothing. There's absolutely zero reason to overreact to anything here. Not that we're going to let that stop us.
No.
but well, let's reset here a little bit. We're going to take a quick break here from a couple sponsors. And then when we come back, there are some names that have some fresh paperwork and fresh dollar signs attached to them. We're going to be talking money on the flip side of this. You are tuned into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back after this. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon. But it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Freddie back with you here. Before we dive into money conversation, let's get everybody caught up real quick, as with 4 minutes left to go in regulation, the Toronto Maple Leafs have taken a 3-2 lead on the Montreal Canadiens. Morgan Riley right now with what would be the game-winning goal if it stands. Yep. 9:02 in the third, and in the third inning down in our nation's capital, the Bruins still up 1-0. 13:23 left to go. David Pastrnak, the only goal so far, 12:07 into the second.
That's crazy. We're looking at stats right now, and Austin Matthews, 0 shots on goal tonight.
Wow.
I expected him to come out flying. He got rid of, one of his best friends, Mitchell Marner. It's his team now. And I thought he was going to come out there, hell's blazing, firing 6-7 shots a game like he's capable of. William Nylander also right now with no shots on goal. So if you have those guys in any of your prop picks like I do, it's another fantastic night. I just can't do it.
Or if you have either of them on your fantasy teams, you're going, come on, serious, throw me a bone here.
Disappointing.
That's incredible. If you were to say that with 4 minutes left to go in the game, Austin Matthews has no shots, William Nylander has no shots, you'd go, oh, so the Leafs are losing.
Exactly.
Apparently not.
Well, they got some scoring depth, which is going to be very good for them. They're going to be a top team in the Eastern Conference.
Hey, that depth is going to pay dividends eventually. Well, one of the teams that is about to drop the puck here in, let's face it, we all live in hockey time. It'll probably be more like a half hour from now rather than 20 minutes from now. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Calgary Flames, another all-Canada game up there.
Battle of Alberta. Yep.
The Battle of Alberta. Connor McDavid playing with a little bit of a
heavier pockets.
Not nearly as heavy as you would have expected, though. I like this from Brian Pasta, his fourth straight goal on opening night.
It's so crazy that I had the game on TNT right before we came on, and they flashed a stat on the top of the screen, and it said Pasternak goals in 3 straight opening nights, and literally less than 5 seconds later, he zigzags his way around, flicks one on net, and it goes in. Like, come on. You've heard of the reverse, the kicker curse or stuff like that, but it was like, as soon as they posted that, he's like, I'm going to make it 4.
Yeah.
That's
the
crazy.
reverse curse there. Unbelievable there. Well, we brought up that McDavid, we talked about it last week, that we kind of hoped that he would enter free agency next season. I don't know about you. I didn't really expect him to enter free, to go through this season playing out the final year of his deal, but I was hoping he would. He doesn't. Signs a very modest 2 years, $12.5 million per year. So only $25 million total extension. The money kicks in next season.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of big factors when it comes to this. Kirill Kaprizov the week before signed $17 million. And we were saying, man, McDavid's going to get upwards of 20, right? Obviously that's not what he just signed for. This is a 2-year extension. Right now, as of January 1st, up until January 1st, the NHL has a max contract deal that you can only sign for 8 years. After January 1st, the max length of contract is 7 years. We also have a new salary cap that's going to be coming into play in the next year or two as well. So Edmonton just bought the 2 years for McDavid, and then they can sign him for 7 if they choose to do that. So they can have him for 9. So once that 2 years is up, he's going to get a ton of money, but the cap will be inflated. So they will have that extra spending as well. That's pretty smart marketing up there in Edmonton. I hate to say it, but I was really hoping Connor would test free agency and see where his allegiances really lied. But now you have something in Edmonton that they can build upon at least for 2 years and then see what happens. And $12.5 million a year is nothing, but he's definitely worth a lot more. So don't get that misconstrued. That's exactly the reasoning behind it. He's
doing the Oilers a solid by agreeing to do it for just the 12.5 per. I mean, that is well below market value, below.
He knows he's going to be up to 20 plus when that 2 years comes up, and he will be the highest paid player in the league at that time as well. So,
well, you hope so, but of course, heaven forbid, there's always things that could happen between now and then. But assuming nothing drastic changes, I think absolutely, he'll be looking at 20 million per. Well, one guy that didn't quite get the most per year, but his pockets are definitely a little bit heavier now after all this. Jack Eichel getting ready to make his season debut tonight. he got himself a nice bag of cash, taking advantage of, as you brought up, the last couple months where players can sign an 8-year extension.
Yep.
Signs an 8-year extension with Vegas for $108 million total. It's did I say it was the 5th highest
13
total dollar
and a half a
contract?
year. Yeah. 13 and a half per year.
Yeah, it's not the most per year, but it's up there in the top 5 for most total dollars in an NHL contract.
Yeah.
So kudos for Jack Eichel. Kudos for Vegas for getting that done too. This was another guy that was a pending free agent, was going to be one of those massive dominoes here in about 9 months. And now he's also off the table, off the board.
Adam, before we get into the other big signings, I want to go back to Edmonton real quick because on the Monday they re-signed who was it? Jake Wallman to an extension, and one of their defensemen to an extension on the 6th, and then just today, after we hear about the McDavid signing, they sign Matthias Ekholm as well. 3 years, $12 million in total. The Jake Wallman numbers are, let me pull those up right here. 7-year deal at $7 million a year for Jake Wallman, and $4 million a year for the next 3 years for Matthias Ekholm. They are stockpiling their blue line. They are making some pretty bold moves early.
They're trying. I can see both sides of that coin, and I'm curious where you fall on this. On the one hand, you're talking about a team that, hey, it's not just Florida that has made it to the Cup 2 years in a row. This Edmonton Oiler team has made it to the Cup final 2 years in a row too. So it makes sense to keep some of that core together. On the flip side, they've come up on the short end of the stick each of the last 2 times. Ekholm is 35.
Mm-hmm.
McDavid's McDavid. That you are keeping him for as long as you can.
Right.
Wallman is 29. He's got some years. He's got some years left there. Obviously, defenseman, you can play well into your mid 30s, into your late 30s there. What are your thoughts overall on the Oilers? I do worry that they're bringing too many things that ultimately aren't working.
Well, they had a stockpile of number 1 draft picks 10 years ago for about a 4 or 5 year period where, they drafted the likes of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Taylor Hall, and they really started building a good system from being bad and a good farm system. They have a lot of young, good talent. And then when you combine that with 2 of the greatest players in the world in McDavid and Draisaitl, you do have stuff you could build while you still have the best players in the world on your team and who are still leading the team. I personally, I don't like the Oilers as a team, as a fan, but as a hockey fan and purist, well, I really think they're making some good moves up there. They're building for that future. They have been the dominant team in the Western Conference, and now I think they're finally going to be able to take those steps and continue this dynasty kind of thing that they've got going up there.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it either way, but yeah, it's good stuff from the Oilers overall. So now back over to Vegas. Jack Eichel, 108. He's only 28, same age as McDavid. 13.5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I feel like it's a slam dunk. You didn't pay him the top dollars per year, but you gave him more years if you're Vegas. So
Yeah.
I like the move for Vegas. Yeah, it's a big chunk of their cap overall, but as you've brought up, the cap is going to go up. That ESPN money keeps coming in. That new
Yeah.
TV money keeps coming in. So the salary cap is starting to grow now for the league.
I think it's a fair payment at 13.5 per year. I still think what Minnesota paid Kaprizov at 17 is an overpayment. Now, if Eichel's coming in at 13.5, personally, I think he's just as good of a player statistically and such a good leader as well as Kaprizov is in Minnesota. So this also becomes a bargaining chip now for some of the teams that have pending free agents, like the Kings with Adrian Kempe. They're like, well, Adrian, we know we could show you right here on paper. You're not statistically as good as Kyle Connor, who just signed as well, or Jack Eichel. So we think we can get you in maybe in that 10 to 12 million range. I think would be fair to him. I like what Vegas is doing. Since their inception, they've done everything perfectly. Now you could say that, the way they came into the league, with the draft and everything that happened with that, but they're making the right moves, and they continue to be one of the best teams in their first 6-7 years of existence. And now they're just building. They bring in Mitchell Marner, and now you have Jack Eichel. Mark Stone's going to be on his way out soon, and these guys are going to be the new leaders that are going to carry the torch. They have good younger defensemen. They brought in Noah Hannafin and signed him for an extension as well. So they've got the great building blocks in Vegas. You're going to see Vegas and Edmonton at the top going neck and neck for the next 5 or 6 years, guaranteed.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I think that's right on for Vegas, having Eichel and Marner locked up for the long term. You're going to miss Mark Stone, but you're not going to miss Mark Stone,
Yeah. And then, I'll go ahead.
Oh, I was just finish up because I was going to turn the page over to one other team real quick. So I'll let you close the book on the Golden Knights here.
No, good on them. I was gonna see if you wanted to go talk about Kyle Connor. Is that where you're going next?
Absolutely, that's where we're headed right now. You brought him up north of the border there in nice frozen. Well, not yet. In about another month, frozen Winnipeg. Kyle Connor also signing an extension today. We've got another 28-year-old, 8 years, $12 million per year, $96 million total for Kyle Connor.
Yep.
This is what's not to like about this deal?
Okay, I wasn't sure with your reaction. Did you think it was an overpayment, or do you think it's fair?
No, I think it's a really good deal.
I think it's a great deal as well. $12 million a year. Kyle Connor, we know, is a 40-goal scorer a season, and he's going to be leading Winnipeg for many years to come now, with 8 years extended to his contract. But I do like that. And again, that $12 million was kind of that space where we thought Adrian Kempe, who's probably one of the next big names, and Marty Necas of Colorado, the next two big free agents that we're going to see. 12 million. You had Eichel at 13.5. Kyle Connor, who's a proven goal scorer, not very physical, but he could put the puck in the net. He knows how to do that. And 12 million is very fair, I think.
Yeah, very, very makes sense all the way around. And I'm double checking here, and it does look like all these deals too include no movement clauses for the players as well. I'm double checking all of them right now, but I believe that's the case for all of them. Yep. Yeah. Even Ekholm's no movement clauses. So that's nice for the players too, because then they know the only way they're moving is if they give permission, at that point, that they can't have the rug pulled out from under them. And suddenly the next thing you know, I guess I'm not here anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I like that number, but again, I as a Kings fan and somebody who wants to see Adrian Kempe be retiring and be in the face of the Kings once Kopitar's gone, um, that 12 million is kind of the ceiling, I think, for him. So they're going to have to negotiate. Emily Kaplan was interviewed last night on the broadcast for ESPN, and she said both parties are not agreeing at this time, but they're both very positive that's going to result in him staying and getting extended with the Kings. So that's positive. It's the dollar number now that's the biggest hurdle, and I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon on that front. So Colorado's Marty Necas, I mean, what is he capable of doing?
Mhm.
What 10 plus 10 to 12 again. That's that kind of like that zone for those caliber players.
Well, the interesting thing here too that I think we'll have to analyze and dive into and see how it continues to go. It feels like the Kiprusoff signing is going to be an outlier. Which is so bizarre because normally, we see this in other sports all the time that it's always advantageous to be the last player, or to be the first team to say, if you're the team, you want to sign him first. If you're the player, you want to wait as long as you can because that's how you'll get the most money. It'll just be, oh, what did he get? Well, you give me 2% more or 3% more because I'm next. And we're not seeing that at all with any of these deals. Kiprusoff is, and not just like, oh, well, he's an outlier by like $1 million or something. No, he's an extreme.
Yeah, good
outlier.
on him for getting the cash. But these other GMs are like, no, we're not going to be paying you that kind of money. You're going to take what we give you. And these guys are, keep in mind, what we're seeing are guys that are on very successful teams as well. So they want to stay with those franchises that they're playing for. They're all in very competitive teams. Winnipeg is top of the league every year, Edmonton and Vegas. Those guys are always going to be up there for the years to come. And that kind of, taking like a hometown discount maybe to stay, to build. 17 million is outrageous.
Yeah. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it feels right now like that's going to be an outlier for several years to come, that we might not see it get eclipsed nearly as quickly as I thought we would.
No,
so
that his contract is 16% of the salary cap for Minnesota. So they're really hoping that cap goes up in the next couple of years.
And the Wild they really just freed up a ton of money just to turn around and possibly torpedo their salary cap again. Oh boy.
Let's just say Minnesota real quick doesn't have as good of a season as they did last year, and then they tank. Then they could start selling off some of their assets as well. And then you can have a rebuild and, maybe bring in some guys for lesser money. But yeah, I would like to see how that goes in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be different, certainly going to be interesting there. Well, let's take a step back for just a quick minute, and then we're going to have some fun to finish out the show here on the Neutral Zone. The start of the new year always means updates for goalie masks all across the league. There's some good ones this year. There are some not as good ones. We'll have a little bit of fun. Let us know what you think in the comments as well. This is the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on in to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnik, Freddie B, having some fun to close out the show as I love it. Freddie is really getting into the spirit here for our final segment as he is fully loaded in hockey gear attire. I love it. Who are you sporting there, Freddie?
This is it's not an official mask, but it's a signed Jonathan Quick mask that I have here. And we're talking about goalie gear and goalie masks. Some of my favorite things in hockey are what the goalies are wearing, their pads, the colors, the striping, and especially the masks and how much detail go into them. And I can't wait to discuss this, Adam, and let's go through some of the best and some of the worst that we've got so far this season.
All right. One of my favorite, as you're getting yourself unmasked there. I like it. One of my favorites right out of the gate. He's somebody that we talked about already. Scott Wedgwood of the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
When I saw this a couple days ago, is in kind of part of the season primer. At first it was, well, this is a little odd. Why we've got on here, we've got what looks like kind of a caricature of a baby doll and then a couple of puppies. All right. Well, this is an interesting choice, but hey, it's an opportunity to express. That's what it's for. Well, then you read about it though. The girl above his left eye is a cartoon caricature of his daughter.
Yeah.
And the two dogs,
so cute.
And then the two dogs are his dogs, Bucky and Captain. And all three of them are surfing on an avalanche. Immediately it was, I love it. I don't need to see any others. This is one of my favorites for the entire year to be. Every time he goes out on the ice, he's got his daughter and he's got his dogs out there with him. What more do you need?
I love when they add in members of family or friends and names, or they pay tribute to somebody that they looked up to. There's been some really incredible masks over the years, paying tribute to artists, musicians, actors, former players. I love that. And it's funny that you bring that up, Adam, that you chose Scott Wedgwood, because I'm watching the game last night at home with my kids, and that was the first thing they pointed out was his mask. And they thought, oh, Dad, look, he's got little cartoon characters on his mask. And I thought that was great. And yeah, props on him for adding his family. If I was playing and I was a goalie, I would try to incorporate that somehow as well. And that's awesome. You can't take your family with you on the road, but you can always have them with you per se in wearing the equipment. So that's really cool.
Exactly. So that one immediately just got to me right out of the gate. Who's one of your favorites?
Man, there's so many to choose from, really, but I'm going to go with my hometown team, the Kings. And is the first time I saw it, the one that Darcy Kemper wore last night for the 3rd jersey. It is chromed out. It's completely metallic looking with 2 large crowns on the side and then little crowns and LA Kings on it as well. It looks like it's made out of metal. It's really cool looking, and it just looked fantastic with the uniforms last night. You have it glistening and shining, really cool. I hadn't seen that from him until he wore that last night, and that's the one I'm going with. That's my number 3 in my top 3.
Oh, I love it. It's I commented how it really has that Raiders look to it
Yeah.
when you're seeing it on the team, but for whatever reason when it's on the goalie, no, I like it. We can go with it. It's a good overall look. I like it. Well, another one of my favorites, real quick, as we're doing this, having some fun here at the end. And if you want to comment on some of your favorite or least favorite hockey goalie masks on the season, let us know in the comments across Twitter, Twitch, or of course YouTube. Another one of my favorites. It's not quite as splashy as some of the others, but there are times where it's just a good, solid look to it. You don't need to necessarily go all out and make it too busy.
Mm-hmm.
With the San Jose Sharks, Yaroslav Oskarov, that is a nice mask. He's incorporating. It's a lot of the team colors. You've got a lot of the teal there. You've got the logo on the side. I like having the palm branches on the top. It's just a good, clean, solid look.
It is. And when San Jose changed up their uniforms a couple of years ago to this different style of teal and kind of got rid of the black, a lot of the black that they had, and when it's compared with their white, road uniforms or whatever, it is sharp. You're right. That's a very good mask. Now I'm looking at it in depth. It kind of has that beach vibe feel to it as well, which, the palm trees, and it looks like there's like sand or something. And then the shark logo has always been one of the best logos since that first came out.
It's definitely got a SoCal vibe to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, SoCal, but they're NorCal. But I do like that it's kind of beachy kind of themed. I like how they're going with that.
Who's next for you?
Man, let's see. I had a list going with some of the ones I really liked. Somebody who really has nice masks is Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
And over the years, there's some really cool videos that you can watch on Instagram or Twitter of some of the artists, and it's just one of those ASMR type videos when they just do everything start to finish, the coloring, the airbrushing, every little detail. I can watch that stuff all day, and he's got a couple of really cool masks this year. One of them is just like the black and red generic, logo looking one, but then he also has one featuring a Viking Lego on it, and I thought that was so cool.
Yes, I saw that. That is cool. The Danish brick, I think, is what they nicknamed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Some guys put like the Simpsons characters. I've seen that before as well, but I do like the Lego character. That's pretty cool.
Yep. On the flip side, there are a couple that to me I don't care for as much. I'm scrolling my way back up to it right now. It was towards kind of the top of the list here, but sometimes players can go in my mind, you can go a little too overboard. You can be a little too gnarly with it, a little too, oh my gosh, there's just too much going on here for my taste. As I'm stall so I can scroll back up.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
As I am jumping all around on the page here. But come on. Get back up there. It was It was. I know it was. There. Here we go. In Buffalo. In
Mm,
Buffalo. Luukkonen, Ukko-Pekka. That to me, it's just to me with the Buffalo
yeah.
Ray mask that he's got going this year, where it kind of looks like um
I don't know
um
what that is, to be honest with you. It looks like there's some ice cubes, maybe,
so
or I don't
there
know what that is. See if I can
it
get it.
honestly, when I first saw it, it was, oh, it's the Wampa creature after Luke chops off its arm on Hoth.
Yeah,
That was the first thing that came to my mind, and ugh,
it's a
ugh.
lot going on, and I don't know what direction it is. It kind of has a small feel of Ryan Miller's old mask when he was with the Sabres. I could see
Mhm.
there's some horns coming out the back towards the top, but yeah, good call on that. That one is
Yeah,
yeah,
that to me, that's a rough one.
yeah,
That's a
that is
rough
rough.
one. But hey, if it gets you to stop the puck, if it gets you to stop the puck, then you absolutely you go for it. Goalies are a little wild and crazy. You got to let them have some fun with things like that.
Yeah. There's a couple that are made by Dave Art, and they all kind of have that same feel. Linus Olmark in Ottawa, and then Stuart Skinner in Edmonton. They both have this mask that looks like some liquid is spilled on it, and it's just covering it. I don't know if orange oil. I'm assuming on the Skinner mask, but
Yeah,
come I don't know. And then
yeah,
if you look at the one from Ottawa from Olmark, it's almost the same type of design. So it's almost like that artist likes doing those uh type splotches,
yes, yeah.
splatters, what you want to call it. But yeah, I've seen worse, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
it is a choice though. It is definitely a an okay. Well, you
K-
do you
yeah. K-
you
my all-time favorite one on of this year's goalies has got to be though Andre Vasilevsky. The
oh
the
yeah.
amount of detail, it's like Russian China or whatever whatever the China is, the detail, the blue and the white. My wife likes to collect teacups and plates and stuff like that, and that type of pattern. I don't know what it's called. She'll kill me for not knowing, but I don't pay attention to that stuff. But that's what it looks like, and it's just so detailed, and you have that kind of Russian feel to it. Then he's got a big lion head on the top, and I don't know, that one really sticks out to me as one of the top notch masks.
Yeah, there were a lot of heads and a lot of skulls this year on the
Yeah,
masks too. I was noticing that was a very popular trend with guys this year to go with that. But so
yeah,
some cool looks, some cool feels all around, and it's always you get to see their personalities come out with it, which is fun.
oh yeah. It's better than just having the solid white mask, or
Jordan
one of
Binnington.
your guys. Yeah, his very first game played against. I was at Staples Center, and he played for your Chicago Blackhawks, and it was Craig Anderson. His very first game
Okay.
with the Blackhawks was a road game. I think he may have came in substitution, or he may have started, but just had that solid white, called up from the minor league, Milek looking white mask. And yeah, that's always awesome. Remember, those guys didn't even wear masks for until the 70s. In 60s into the 70s. That's incredible.
I no, you couldn't. Nope, nope, nope. You get it.
Was it
I
Gary
mean,
Cheevers,
this
the one
isn't
who put the little marks on it, when he would get hit in the face? And yeah.
I mean, admittedly, this isn't the moneymaker, but oh my goodness sake, no way am I taking pucks to the face. No way, you couldn't get me to do it.
They're not
I,
shooting
I,
slap shots like they do now either, but still, you would think that the face would be protected somehow.
you'd want to protect it one way or the other. No, no way, no way. So
Wow. Boston ended up beating the Capitals 3-1.
Woo!
Surprising start for the Bruins, who
Wow.
were cellar dwellers last year. I said they're not going to have 2 bad seasons in a row. They're not going to be great, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. Big win though, going up against the President's Trophy winner from last year, Washington Capitals.
Yep. Big start there. And then the Maple Leafs 5-2 over the Canadians. A couple of empty netters. Austin Matthews and William Nylander did get shots on net because they both put it into the empty net to close it out. So they didn't get shut out for the game. That would have been remarkable.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, they're the two that get the 2 empty netters.
They get the two empty netters. So, well, with that, that is going to do it for our show here this week. Thank you to our sponsors, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Go to planetjerky.net to place your order. They're still offering free shipping on all orders of $50 or above. You could justify dropping $50 on that jerky. It's pretty darn.
You know what? I went to a thing over here at the junior college right across the street from where I live on first Friday of every month. We have a little vendor street fair, and Planet Jerky was there. I sampled it firsthand. It is fantastic. Go get yourself to that Planet Jerky.
It is good stuff. Absolutely. And then also thank you to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com and pick everything out, use the promo code IESR at checkout to get 15% off of your order. Thank you also to Larry B., the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, for all the hard work you do behind the scenes. It does not go unnoticed, nor is it unappreciated. Be sure to follow along with IE Sports Radio on all the social media platforms, Twitter and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. And, of course, be sure to follow us also on TikTok as well. This show is also available for you on Twitter. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. Thank you to Brian Francisco for hanging out with us in the chat room. Finally, thank you for watching, whether it was across YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter Live, or you're watching it later on as a playback. Thank you for being here. This is this crazy thing called the Neutral Zone. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock in the East, 6 o'clock in the West, and all times and time zones in between there. For Brian, I am Adam. We will see you guys next week.
Hey, Freddie B.
Freddie B. Whoa, my goodness, what did I say?
Okay. Hey, enjoy the game tonight. Kings and Knights, Oilers and Flames. Let's get it on.
There we go. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.